Hey guys, subscribe for daily content, and if you're shopping for gear, make sure you check out the description for the newest items at some of the very best online retailers. There's also links for some of the items that I personally recommend. Thanks!
What's going on YouTube? Metal Complex here, and today I've got another short little unboxing video to share with you guys. We have a CJRB and two Artisans. These came in a couple of different packages, not sure why, but I'm going to do them all together because it's all the same company. Thanks to Artisan Cutlery for sending this in. Let's go ahead and figure out what we've got. All this stuff will be linked individually in the description so you guys can check it out if you want to. It looks like these are all sealed. Oh, a 20 CV pyrite with a copper handle. Sometimes, I've mentioned this before, sometimes I get irritated with getting like the same model from companies. And I know it's like people say, don't complain, you're getting it for free. But as a content creator who's trying to share new and exciting things with the community, sometimes I get a little irritated with like, it's the same model, but now in green, now in mint green. It's like, well, okay, but is that interesting? Sometimes what sort of black magic keeps me from acquiring the contents of this box? Another sticker, it turns out. But sometimes with certain models, there are small, almost meaningless embellishments that make it only slightly different that I do think are interesting. And so maybe I'm biased to certain things. This I do think is actually kind of cool. So we have a full, it's a full copper frame, and then we have a coated, I'm not sure, I doubt it's DLC, but it is a coated CPM 20 CV blade, which is pretty cool. I really like that they have continued to create lots of different versions of the pyrite. I mean, I said this in the earliest days of the pyrite, and it doesn't take a genius to be able to point this out. We knew, and CJRB, you don't have to love the pyrite, that's fine, but pretty much everybody knew all at once that they had a home run. So making as many different versions of this in as many different price points as possible was just a really good idea. So obviously the copper is going to throw the balance off of this guy, so your balance is going to be, you know, not as bad as I thought, though. It's obvious that the handle skills are, if it looks like I'm trying to not touch this very much, it's because I have the genetic hand type that makes copper and brass. Like, my fingers are apparently extremely acidic. So, or whatever. They're salty. I got salty fingers. But this will patina in like 30 minutes if I put my nasty mitts all over it. So given that I will probably give this away on a live stream at some point, I don't want to patina that if the end user doesn't want me to. But I do like that they've got these different versions of it. I think the copper looks really good with the black. So that's cool. I appreciate you guys sending that to me. No need to re-review this because I've reviewed it before. Next up, we have something a little heavy, honestly. Let's do the lighter one first. So here's the light. Oh, we got to break the seal on this one. So the lighter guy here, either a thinner or just smaller knife in general, is called the Cleo Sand Polish S90V. Gotta love Artisan Cutlery and their continued use of S90V, especially considering they are keeping their prices when combined with titanium at roughly $200 or less, which is really good. It looks like, oh, this is going to be a little baby boy. I bet this is even less then. A lot of times with Artisan Cutlery, not that smaller knife means it's always going to be less money. A lot of times with Artisan Cutlery, when you get a smaller knife, it costs less money. So this has a very similar profile, while not exactly the same, but a similar idea to like the Civivi Baby Banter. It's actually very similar in size with very similar ergonomic lines, but more handle and more blade overall. Actually, I can get a full 4-finger grip on that. Not that you'd need it, right? Sand Polish S90V. I'll give it to you, Artisan. I always complain that you guys are inconsistent with the sand polishing. The last few knives that I've got from you have all been essentially the same. Not quite as good as that one that I have, the Satyr, but pretty darn good. About 90% at least. If you could keep it in that range, I think that would be really, really great. But yeah, so who's the designer here? Does it say? No. Let's take a look. It does not say. Well, the listing that I'm going to link in the description will say who the designer is. But, you know, for a smaller knife, that's not bad at all. Have to search a little bit with my thumbs and reposition my hands. Oftentimes, the issue with a small knife, right? Sorry, the calluses on my hands are gross right now. But with a small knife, sometimes I have to position from here to get my thumb low enough to find it, right? Versus a knife with a longer handle, it's not so much that I have to reposition. Everything's kind of already in the right place, right? So if I pick the knife up, I guess lower on the handle to begin with, but sometimes I pick it up here and then I have to move back, right? Which is oftentimes why I don't gravitate towards smaller knives. But much like the baby banter, even with that being lower though, that one seems a little bit easier to find. No, I think maybe it's just my imagination. This is pretty nice. The thumb studs are domed off at the top, so not pokey. I do like the texturing too. That's neat. For those, I messed that one up big time. Not bad with the plunge lock creating the detent. That's actually, as far as a little knife goes, which I generally don't like, I actually don't mind that at all. I think that's fine. And then finally here, this is the one that's a little heavier. It's probably just a normal knife. It's just that one was so light. Whoops, sorry. What do we have here? This one is the Revel. Have I already looked at this? Sand polished MAGNACUT. Is this the first time Artisan Cutlery has used MAGNACUT? I would very much like to know, because I don't at this exact moment. Ooh. Oh, ho, ho, ho. Oh, yes, I have looked at this. Oh, yeah. But look at the texturing. Oh, beautiful. I love that. Yes, I got a thing with texture patterns. You guys, if you've been watching for a while, you know. This is Laconico. Beautiful. Sand polished MAGNACUT. Now, obviously, we got to find out what the heat treat is, right? Generally speaking, the community seems to accept 62 to 64. I think that's fine. I think that's a fine range. But we find out more often than not that companies are unwilling or not, just not, maybe they're just not aware of what the community prefers for MAGNACUT. MAGNACUT by itself is one thing. It's just like any other steel. It is a steel that has a great potential if it is heat treated properly, right? MAGNACUT in particular has an absolutely amazing potential in terms of balance. It's not going to win any awards in terms of edge retention, but maximizing its potential edge retention with its other natural balanced attributes, incredibly tough and very, very stain resistant. I mean, this is kind of a miracle steel, but in order to really make the best use of it in terms of a thin geometry pocket knife, you really do need to be up there 62 to 64, at least according to a lot of the testing that I've seen. That seems to be where it shines. So in this exact moment, I don't know exactly where this is at, but this is a beautiful knife. Ray Laconico always makes good looking, within specific parameters. Like he's always staying within certain parameters, very traditional knife lines. But really good looking knives, really great blade to handle ratio, and I love this texture pattern in here. Not a lot of traction off of it, but really nice, and they did it on both sides. Really cool. Yeah, that's a good looking knife, and in MAGNACUT. I wouldn't be surprised to see that this one is also right around the same $200 price point, though MAGNACUT's pretty pricey. That one might be a little higher, but I'd be pleasantly surprised to see it at $200 or less. Yeah, this is a great combination of stuff here. Really nice. So, this has already been reviewed. This will get a review, and this has already been reviewed. So, the other two are going to be giveaway knives that you guys will see at some point on a live stream. That's going to be pretty much it today. Each of these will be listed individually in the description. So check them out down there if you want to. Thanks again to Artisan Cutlery. Please make sure to follow me on Instagram at metal_complex. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like. If you'd like to check out my other content, I do of course have lots of videos of knives that are either expensive or inexpensive that I do or don't like, so check those out. And if you enjoy all my content, go ahead and click on that Metal Complex logo right there and subscribe because there's definitely more coming. Thanks again for watching, everybody, and have a great day.